Welcome back. We have attorney Kelly Moore and myself with another reaction video. It's been a minute since we've done one of these because, you know, we're doing that other job that we have in court sometimes, you know. But we are very excited to be back doing a reaction for you guys. This is an arrest out of Wisconsin. This is all we know. We're going to watch. We're going to tell you the good. We're going to tell you the bad. And please, in the comments, tell us, what did we observe right? What did we get wrong? Let us know.
On August 25th, 2022, dispatch was notified of a road rage incident at an intersection in La Crosse, Wisconsin. An off-duty sergeant was on his way to work when a vehicle passed him at 60 miles per hour. He stopped behind this vehicle at a red light, but when it turned green, the vehicle didn't proceed even as traffic ahead started moving. While trying to pass in the left turn lane, the off-duty sergeant was blocked. The agitated driver, later identified as a 39-year-old male named Kevin, soon exited his vehicle and approached the sergeant with a concealed hand. In response, the sergeant drew his firearm without aiming. Kevin briefly backed off, then returned with a concealed hand, prompting the sergeant to now point his firearm. Kevin flipped him off and went back inside his vehicle. He eventually started following the sergeant's vehicle and called 911, claiming the firearm was aimed. After locating Kevin's vehicle, an officer initiated a traffic stop and saw him gesturing from his window toward the car in front.
Is this a traffic stop on the officer or the other guy?
I think Kevin thinks that it's on the other guy.
North on 6th Street to La Crosse.
Kevin continued to follow the off-duty sergeant to the City Hall parking lot and promptly exited his vehicle with his hands raised.
This guy's not getting it.
Hey! Okay. Keep your hands where I can see them, okay?
He's the one that pointed a gun at me. You're
Okay.
going to let him get away?
Can you get on your knees, please? Keep your hands where I can see them, okay?
Yep. Is there anyone else in the car? No. I told the 911.
We're just gonna place you in the handcuffs right now, okay?
He pointed a gun at me when I was coming around the corner. I called 911. Why am I in cuffs?
We're just making sure everything's safe. We don't know what's going on. We're trying to figure out what's going on. You want to stand up for me, please? Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna go in front of the squad here.
Why am I even in trouble?
We're trying to figure out what's going on.
This video is very clear.
Yeah, it is.
Kevin, nice to meet you. I'm Steve.
I called you guys.
Okay, we're going to check you, make sure that you don't have anything that's going to hurt me.
Yeah, why would I?
Do you carry any pocket knives for work or anything?
No.
Like that? Okay.
So let's pause here. The officers think that you know, the way they set it up is with a concealed hand. We have no idea if this guy has a weapon or not, right?
Also, they're like, he drove past the sergeant at 60 miles per hour. It's like, well, you don't know what the speed limit was.
Right, yeah, right.
And
They're
then,
setting this up.
yeah, right.
Very slanted, sort of, from
For
the
sure.
start. Yeah.
I would say that there was some road rage going on between him and the off-duty sergeant before this guy just got out of the car and walked up to the window. That would be my assumption.
Yeah. Road rage, we've dealt with a lot of road rage cases. We have cases now where someone points a gun to, you know, at somebody else during these road rage things. It's dangerous, man.
It's very dangerous. There's people getting shot on the Dan Ryan all the time with road rage incidents. Yeah.
Yep. It's just not worth it ever.
Yeah.
And I've done it. Like, I've been pissed off chasing somebody, not like crazy, right? But like, calm down. Like, that guy just didn't let me in. Like,
right.
Chill out, Derek.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I try and think, like, is that person important in my life? And if they're a stranger, the answer is no. Then it's like, let it go.
That's a good way to think.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to have a firearm these days. So it's a safe assumption, at least.
Or we've had kind of a lot of cases with road rage incidents where, like, either our clients are throwing stuff out of their car, like pennies, bottles, and we have one with beer bottles. Throwing beer bottles out of the car to another car. Now you're charged with criminal damage to property.
Right.
You know, it's not worth it.
No, it's not. It is not. So yes, and I can remember this one years ago. I was chased from downtown Chicago on the Dan Ryan all the way to my exit on Torrance Avenue. And this dude in a Suburban chased me. We were flying. And I'm like, I'm trying to call the cops. They don't care. You can't get through to the right. This was so long ago.
Right.
Yeah, it was so scary. And I eventually just ditched him. I got off. But like, You have no idea. Like, that dude would have caught me. I have no idea what he would have done. If he's out there watching, I'm sorry. I just was trying to merge in. I wasn't trying to cause any problems. But, like, it escalates so fast.
For sure.
It's wild.
One thing, too, I think that people don't think about, there are cameras everywhere.
Just caught that one.
Yeah,
From a building, like, 3 doors down.
Right.
Look at the intersection.
Yeah, like any red light camera is basically a pod camera, what we call it. They don't just necessarily capture red light violations. We have a guy right now charged with leaving the scene of an accident. You can see it from anywhere that there's a light. So like the 4 corners, exactly what happened. You can see him hitting the car, reversing. The woman gets out to try and talk to him, and he pulls away.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, anything like that, leaving the scene of an accident, the road rage and stuff, like on the expressways, it's crazy how much they could see. They could zoom in, they can get your license plate, they can get any like indicia on the car if you have a bumper sticker or something like that, make, model, color, year, like it will be captured on video. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yep. You mentioned license plate readers, right? I mean, yeah, they're all over the tollways, all over the expressway. There's cameras that, like when you go on Google Maps, you know, and then they see, is it red? Is the traffic red? Is it orange? What's the delay? Part of that is those cameras. Part of that is other users, you know, reporting in their data. Like there's a ton of stuff out there. If there is a serious incident, they're going to catch it. In fact, all these shootings that have occurred over the years, recent years on the expressway, I've noticed, this is anecdotal, I don't know for sure, but it always seems like they catch them. And it's the Illinois State Police catch them like, you know, some period of time later, but like that data's out there.
For sure.
Like, they just got to go track it down.
Yeah. We get so many leaving the scene of an accident investigations. Like they call us, the police are calling me. I mean, it's very easy to track you down. I think people think like, oh, I was in my friend's car, I was in my mom's car or something.
Guess what? When they call your friend or they call your mom, they're going to say, I don't know, Kevin was driving the car, right? Right. So back to this video now. Definitely they're setting it up as like this poor innocent sergeant, right? But if that was a random person who pointed the gun, a gun and something, not like this person happens to be a sergeant. Obviously, they have the firearm lawfully. But if that was a random person who pulled out the gun, they'd be in handcuffs right alongside this guy.
Yeah. The other thing is, too, that, like, the sergeant should have announced himself. Like, even off-duty, like, I'm an off-duty police officer, like, back off, man. You know, and then maybe he never would have approached him the second time.
Yeah, but now I think Kevin here might be in some trouble.
Yeah,
let's see.
Kevin's very confused.
I want to know if he's very confused, and I kind of understand.
Except when he pulled into City Hall, he was like, all right.
Damn it. Yeah. Damn it. Me? You guys want me?
Maybe I flipped off the wrong guy.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll see. I'm very interested to know if he does, in fact, have a firearm.
Me too.
Gun pointed at me, I'm under arrest.
You got a gun pointed at you?
Really? That's why I called the cops.
Okay.
Oh, this is how it's going to go, huh?
Until I figure out that everybody is safe, I can't get into the whole what happened.
Why do you think I was chasing him? Because my phone's still going with the 911 dispatcher. Hey.
Feels like he's got a meth pipe in his
A meth pipe.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's in the 5th pocket.
Okay.
Forgot about that thing.
He's like, I forgot about that.
Guys, this is Kevin.
These are my meth pants. I forgot I had these on.
Yep.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? What?
Other than have drug
paraphernalia?
We're just trying to figure it out, but you wouldn't stop for us right away.
Because I was chasing him.
Right, but you can't be chasing people no matter what.
But he's going to get away pointing a gun at me? I have no gun.
We're out with him. We know who he is.
Is it?
There's other officers over there with him.
Okay, but is it your deputy or something? You can't point something at somebody.
A sergeant, actually.
After they try to
My
run
boss.
your
He's our
vehicle
boss.
for not going fast enough. You guys don't have permission, so don't even think about it.
Do the right thing. This is what I get, huh?
We're just trying to figure out the situation right now, Kevin.
Okay.
What do you think about
Take it.
So, Kelly, what if, he doesn't ever have a gun, which we'll still see. I'm sure they're going to search the car. But say he never had a gun, right? But the officer, the sergeant who was in the road rage incident with him is like, oh, he was acting like he did. Is that a crime to act like you have a gun if you don't?
Yeah, that would be an assault because you're putting somebody in like imminent fear that they're about to receive a battery via
Bodily harm.
Yeah, a weapon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, might be a good idea to charge it. That's usually what the prosecutors do, kind of charge it with the kitchen sink and then see what sticks. Have him plea on the possession of drunk paraphernalia. I'll call the sergeant and see if he's cool with, dismissing the assault.
And the other way around, again, this is a sergeant. Of course, he's going to get more leeway and the benefit of the doubt, which I'm not necessarily saying is wrong here. I don't know the full story. But pointing, the act of pointing your gun at somebody, you can own that gun legally. Each state is different. You may be able to conceal carry that in Illinois, that's what we call it. In Wisconsin, I'm sure it's different, right? But like, you may have that gun totally legally. The act of pointing it at someone can also be
Absolutely.
assault.
That would be an assault with a deadly weapon if he actually did have the gun. But yeah, I would definitely say that would depend on the fact pattern. If the sergeant could like legitimately testify that he thought he had a gun, I think it would be more helpful to the sergeant to say like, I announced my office, said I was a sergeant. He said he was on his way to work. So obviously it sounds like him having his service weapon on him makes sense. But yeah, I think it's very fact-based here.
Yeah, breath, everything's fine, okay? This is a minor thing, okay?
He's getting changed already inside, so I'm going to talk to him. Okay, well, we need to figure out what this is before you can be 5 minutes late. All right, so I'm trying to gather both sides of the story. You're obviously in handcuffs. You're not free to leave at this point. What I still want to do, though, is gather your information, your side of things.
Why am I not free to leave at this point?
Because you got a meth pipe on you, and they did a high-risk traffic stop based on some information that they had from the initial
But I was the one on hold with 911, so that meth pipe is void right now. Because it shouldn't have been found because I was the one that called. With my life in danger, with somebody pointing a pistol at me, correct? Am I correct?
No.
was it in the car?
Am I correct? Was my life in danger? Was somebody pointing a pistol at me?
Kevin, you're asking me questions that are rhetorical.
No, it's not rhetorical. Would your life be in danger if you were pointing a pistol at?
I would say yes.
Okay, so that's what happened to me. That's why I called 911.
Before we get into this.
That's why I called 911,
Yep.
correct? So the dispatcher said, what's the vehicle's license plate? I said it. I said, I'm not letting them go.
Okay.
So let's just try to break down Kevin's argument here, right? I kind of get, I'm trying to be very sympathetic to him, saying like, he's the one that got out of the car. Right? So it's hard to be sympathetic, but...
Also, you have a meth pipe in your pocket. Like, don't call the police when you have drug paraphernalia on you.
But he did get what's more important, trying to eliminate this threat of a gun being pointed at you or worry about your meth pipe.
Is he really worried about the gun, though? Like you said, like he's the one who got out of the car, confronted him, not once, but twice. They continued to pull off. He followed him. He could have just like went on with his life.
That is true.
If he wasn't carrying drug paraphernalia, I would be much more sympathetic to him and his situation.
Really? I mean, yes, I would too. But, I'm trying to move that to the side because it is unrelated to the scenario. I mean, I don't know that he's high right now on meth.
I could be biased because it's a meth pipe, but also it's
so
like
what if he had a bag of weed on him? Would you be as biased?
No.
Okay. Let's see where you're how about a little blow, a little cocaine on him? Would you be as?
I would definitely be biased because like it's a competency issue. Like, come on, man, don't call the police when you have hard drugs on you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but fine, remove the meth pipe, right? This guy feels. He gets out of the car just to yell at someone.
Yeah.
In the light most favorable to Kevin, right? He gets out of the car to go yell at someone about being a jerk in traffic. He gets a gun pointed at him. He calls 911. He's trying to make sure that this person who committed a felony, in his mind, by pointing a gun at him, and threatened his life, he's trying to make sure that they cannot go do that to the next person, right? Not yet, Kevin is now here in handcuffs, and seemingly this other guy is off somewhere else, having a cup of coffee, having a donut.
I would be way more sympathetic to Kevin in that situation, and I would feel like it was like favoritism on behalf of the sergeant.
Right. Is it? I don't know. That's definitely in the light most favorable to Kevin here. But that may be what is in his mind, right? And now he's saying, like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't about the crack pipe. It's about this dude. I don't think he knows that it's their sergeant. I mean, he's got an idea, right?
Yeah, he asked.
Yeah, he's like, is this your deputy or something?
Yeah.
So, like, he's like, dude, he's trying, his way out of this in his mind, whether it's legitimate or not, is... You got the wrong guy.
I'm the victim.
I'm the victim. Yeah,
he's almost making like a fruit of the poisonous tree argument, but I don't think it's lying.
Yes. Tell me what a fruit of the poisonous tree argument is.
Like basically that if the police unlawfully search or stop somebody, anything that they find thereafter would be excluded in court, could not be admitted in court, so basically couldn't be used against him. So he's like, hey, I'm the victim. I called you for help. It just so happened you found this pipe on me, but you never should have searched me in the first place.
Right. But Kevin's wrong because it is a legitimate traffic stop. The fact that someone pointed the gun, having a gun and pointing at somebody is a big deal. But because that is a bigger deal than getting out of the car or having the crack pipe or driving away or following or the road rage or whatever, because the gun is a bigger deal doesn't negate his.
Exactly.
Right? Now that doesn't negate his violations.
Right.
And so that doesn't mean that just because there's a bigger issue that you should be looking at over here doesn't mean that the traffic stop upon me is invalid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the sergeant indicated that this guy came up to his car twice with a concealed hand. I mean, I think you and I think that's kind of BS. But then he continues to follow him. They try to stop him. He doesn't stop. They absolutely have the right to bring him out of the car and pat him down for their safety.
For sure.
So that pipe is not being excluded.
Exactly right. It's not void, as he said.
Yeah, void ab initio.
Right, exactly. That's right.
Yes, I would like to read you. Okay, that's what I was getting to. Good. Put him in the car. Put him in the car.
I want you in the car, please. Just for now, we can take you in a second. Just can you please sit in the car for me? That's all I'm asking.
Are you just going crazy?
Okay, you can take a seat like that.
Don't cry, Kevin.
No tears, Kevin.
While speaking with Kevin, a strong odor of intoxicants was emitting from his person.
Oh, God. Now it's a DUI.
I can already smell it.
Leave the door open? Let's turn into a circus real quick.
I was literally walking out of the PD. I see 6 squads. I'm like, no, we're not doing this.
Said he pointed the gun at you?
Yes. You pointed. Oh, you think I called 911? 911, I called them for a reason.
But when we pull you over like that...
And he gets away?
I know you were pointing.
With my record?
Okay, I'll be right back, Kevin, okay?
What?
I think if this guy's following Mandahano through traffic and like blocks him into traffic or something, Mandahano pulls his gun. It's like, police officer, back up or get on the ground or something.
That's an assumption.
Just pull the gun on me, blah, blah, blah. Then this guy calls 911. I guarantee the gun we're looking for is Mandahano's gun because Mandahano felt a reasonable fear for his safety off duty.
You know your rookies aren't going to...
Just pumping up your fellow officer's story. Let me craft this for you here, right? That's what that seems like.
Police are doing that a lot on body-worn camera these days, you know?
Yep.
It's like,
We've watched other videos where, the officers will huddle like that and get stories straight.
For sure.
It's a gray line in the sense of, are we getting our story straight or are we hashing out what actually happened?
Right. Are we bolstering our case for the judge, thinking down the road of this being shown?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with a bunch of officers who all observe different things getting together and figuring it out, right? It's like, all the refs on a football field are going to get together and come up with the right play.
Yeah.
But did they manufacture that play, or is it supported by the evidence?
It's okay to get in a huddle and talk about what each officer physically observed, right, about the incident, but it's not okay to make like wild assumptions about something they know nothing about. They don't know if the sergeant announced his office. They don't know if the sergeant reasonably felt like he was in imminent fear of receiving a battery. That's all speculation.
Yes, and those are things that need to be investigated.
Exactly.
Not assumed and sort of admitted into the record here. Yeah, that doesn't exist.
And they're assuming it because, like, obviously they're coworkers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Yes, exactly.
So if Kevin does have alcohol in his breath, are you less sympathetic to him calling?
Yeah, now I am. Yeah, there's got to be a line for Kevin somewhere.
Come on, Kevin.
You have your badge in a week, right?
Wait, or what?
Because you guys can't search that vehicle, you know that, right? I called in an
emergency
response and I'm in trouble.
I know my rights. My rights are in the back of the car.
Give me a phone call. I want my lawyer right now. Before you guys even touch that vehicle, I want my lawyer right now. You know I'm right. I want a lawyer.
No, you're not.
Right. I'm done talking to you, Kevin.
Just so you know, I will subpoena the 911 dispatcher.
You don't have the right to subpoena.
You guys arrested me for a gun being pointed at me, just so you know.
Coach, put your leg back.
That's fine, just so you guys know.
I kind of do smell booze on his breath, actually. It was in your pocket.
Yeah, but I'm cutting down, so I honestly forgot it was there.
I'm cutting down.
How much you use.
Yeah, everything else, I will subpoena every one of you and all your body cams in and everything, okay? I'll take the meth pipe charge.
Okay.
I was in the wrong.
That's what we're figuring out right now.
I got a little worked up. I've been drinking too, so.
Okay.
There was no reason for him to...
I love it. I love it.
All right, I hear you.
I want a lawyer here.
Okay, you're crystal clear, Kevin.
Take the meth pipe charge, though.
Okay.
We get it.
All right.
Thanks. You hear that?
You just said I've been drinking too.
Yeah, he has. Now they're gonna pull him out and do fields.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do them too.
He's gonna do them?
100%.
Why?
Because he's an idiot.
All right, there you go. There you have it, folks. Let's see. Well, he is an idiot for saying, "No, I've been drinking too."
100%.
Right, exactly.
This whole thing is so stupid. He caused this whole. I mean, not caused. He doesn't deserve to have a gun pointed at him, but
maybe he did. Right? Like, seriously, now I'm going to take the total opposite stance, like a good lawyer would, right?
Yeah.
If I am an officer, especially, but if I have a concealed carry and some road rage dude comes up to my car and he is acting like, I'm drawing my gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least having it ready in self-defense. So,
also, I don't believe that, like, the road rage part was at the exact point where this story started, like that they were just stopped at the light. It was definitely more than that.
Well, if someone passes you at 60 miles an hour and you are not going 60 miles an hour, chances are you're not going to wind up behind them.
But like if I was on the expressway and somebody passed me going 60 miles an hour, I'd be like, I deserve that because I'm.
Well, so you still want to know the speed limit? Yes, got it. All right.
I'll take a bite, but yeah, I was worked up. I've been drinking too.
Oh. What am I under arrest for?
Well, apparently you admitted to having a meth pipe on you.
That's a misdemeanor. You're arrested. Let that vehicle sit there.
Kevin, listen. We're talking to the other party involved right now to figure out where we're going from here. Okay?
He pointed a gun at me.
I'm not saying I don't believe you. We're talking to that party. Okay?
I don't have a gun. Do I have a gun?
I don't know. Not on you. No, you don't.
I'm trying to explain the situation to you, okay?
Well, I'm claustrophobic.
There was a lot of confusion about, there was mention of a gun. As a police officer arriving on scene with dozens of other police officers, none of us knew who involved had a gun. Could have been the other person, could have been you, could have been the off-duty police officer, I don't know.
Operator. So it's an off-duty police officer, huh?
I don't know.
That's what the problem is.
We don't know who else had a gun.
You just told me what it was.
No, I'm giving you possibilities on what
No, you didn't give me a possibility. You told me what it was.
Kevin,
You just admitted that it was an off-duty police officer. Told the truck, let's go to court. He pointed a gun at me. The recording is there. Told the truck. Told the truck.
Okay, I'm done explaining it to you.
I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay. I want a lawyer. Told the truck.
After conducting a records check, it was revealed that his driving status was suspended. Subsequently, an officer conducted a canine sniff on Kevin's vehicle, resulting in a positive alert.
Of course, he's got meth.
Yeah. Let's see this. Oh, he sat.
Good boy.
Make that dog do anything you want. Sit.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Or
sit, dog.
You could do a pull on the collar. Or the leash, I mean.
You know you guys are wasting your time, right? I'll tell you right where the weed is. Officer! Hey, officer!
A subsequent search discovered drug paraphernalia in 2 baggies containing a total of 71.5 grams of marijuana.
You know that's illegal search, right? I asked my lawyer to be here when it's searched. You guys know
how
that?
it works.
No, you're really only entitled to have your attorney there if you're in custody and being questioned and you indicate that you want your attorney. But like the majority of the time, they're just going to stop questioning. They're not going to actually call your attorney in while you make statements.
Right. Yep. You do not have a Fifth Amendment right to have your attorney watch your car be searched.
Right.
That is not a thing that exists.
We got the Twisted Tea.
Oh my
open
God,
container.
it's in a cooler.
Here's the weed. He was being honest about the weed.
Hey, where's my lawyer?
Kevin.
Lawyer.
I don't know.
He's supposed to be here present when you search that vehicle.
So the reason that they're searching the vehicle
Because
is...
the dog hit on some bullshit.
So Steve Hughes... Do you want to hear my explanation?
No, because it's bullshit.
Why do they keep trying to talk to him?
I'll tell you right where it's at in my backpack. Right there. It's right there. Open it up.
Let's just work through one thing at a time. This is Officer DeFore.
I asked for a lawyer, didn't I not?
You did.
Where's my lawyer?
I'm not required to provide
Where is
one
my
at this
lawyer
point.
for the search? Because I said you guys cannot search that vehicle without my lawyer present, correct? Because it is not my vehicle, right? Like, there was a gun pulled on me by a deputy, right? Undercover or off-duty deputy, correct? Correct? Am I right or am I right? Am I right? Your silence says nothing, but I'm right.
I've been very frustrated, and I can understand that, but I'm trying to
No, hold on.
explain the
Answer my question first.
What?
Was there a gun pulled on me by an off-duty deputy?
What does that mean?
Was there a gun pulled on me by an off-duty deputy?
Do you want to talk about this? Did you get out of your car over here?
Yeah. Did he
What
pull
did
a gun
you do?
on me?
Tell me what happened.
Did he pull a gun on me?
I didn't Mirandize you, so none of this counts. I recognize that.
You guys are
but
doing illegal
you're just
search,
sitting
so
here
none of that
yammering
counts.
back and
Let's pause there and let's I mean, if you're watching at home, you're like, what do you mean none of this counts? You wanna...
I disagree.
Yeah.
He's clearly in custody. Now they're trying to elicit statements about the incident to like basically show that he committed an assault on the officer, which would then potentially justify the off-duty police officer pulling the gun on him, right? By getting out of the car twice. Like they're trying to ask him what happened.
They are.
I mean, as a defense attorney, if this was the only evidence, you know, if he was only charged with an assault,
Yes.
I would file a motion to suppress these statements because he should have been Mirandized. So I think that's maybe what the officer's saying. Like, I didn't follow the right procedure,
Yes.
so a motion to suppress
Yeah,
the
yeah.
statements is going to be granted in court. All that being said, though, there's so much more against him now that, like, unless he's charged with an assault, it doesn't really matter in court.
Right. Yeah. So I do think that they got weed and all this other stuff, right? But the core issue still is, was that officer justified in pulling the gun, pointing the gun? Right? I mean, I think, right, that, at least to the officer, that's the most important thing.
The off-duty sergeant.
Yes, I'm sorry. The off-duty
Right.
sergeant, yes, who was involved in the
Yeah.
That's the most important thing to him. Was he justified in doing so?
Right.
And Kevin's statements here do matter, do go to that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. In that case, though, he is the victim, right? If the off-duty sergeant's charged with like an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So you wouldn't want to suppress these statements if you're Kevin's attorney as the complaining witness. Also, I was going to say too, like this La Crosse Police Department should have called in another police department to investigate the issue, talk to the off-duty sergeant, get statements about that, because that's what precipitated all of this.
Yeah. No, I hadn't thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
About that. Yeah, you're right. You would want to get somebody else there.
Yeah.
Because
Ideally. They're all biased. Like, even when they were just in that huddle, they were calling him by his last name. Like, I know him, and I know that he never would have pulled this
Right.
gun unless,
Sure.
you know, so.
Yeah, is essentially what they're saying.
Right.
Yes. All right, so Kevin should, obviously, those of you watching at home know what we're going to say next. He should just shut up, right? Like, just stop making statements. Stop talking. He's in handcuffs with weed and meth. And he's not going home anytime soon, so just shut up. But that tells me something tells me that that's not going to happen.
Fourth.
Ask for a lawyer when.
Right.
Let's talk. Let's talk.
Well, no, you asked for a lawyer. I can't talk to you about
You
any of
just
that.
asked me if I wanted to talk. What would happen? I said, yeah. You said, no, it matters because you didn't read me my Mirandas, right?
No, because you asked for a lawyer.
Oh,
I would have
okay.
read you Miranda
so I
had
asked
you
for
been
a
willing
lawyer
to
to be
talk.
here present when you search the vehicle.
Kevin,
Did
there's
you
never-
listen?
Kevin,
No.
I'm going in circles. I'm going to let you take over.
Did you?
We're past that right now.
Did an off-duty deputy pull a gun on me?
I was not here for that. I'm here to
I
talk
want
to
your
you right
sergeant.
now.
I want your sergeant now.
Okay,
That's
we've been
him.
talking to a sergeant, okay?
I want my lawyer here.
Your lawyer is not here at this point. We don't ever have lawyers here when we're searching vehicles.
Why are you searching me?
Okay.
Take
The
this
only
up.
reason that I am here right now is to run you through standardized field sobriety tests. Are you going to cooperate and perform standardized field sobriety tests? You will? Okay.
Call
I got a
that.
gun pulled on me and I'm f***ing handcuffs? Because it was one of your buddies? Make a record. I want all subpoenas. I want every report subpoenaed. All of your guys' body cams, too.
Your attorney can do that.
Right.
You know I have a lot of money, right? Got a ton of money.
That's awesome.
My lawyers is going to tear your guys apart. You're probably not going to ever be on the force again, just so you know. And if you doubt me, wait till tomorrow.
Sounds good.
He was then transported to the police department
they're gonna
to
do
perform
fields at the
standardized
station.
field sobriety
They were
tests.
there. It
Okay, a
seemed
couple
like.
quick questions.
Yeah.
Do you have any problems with your eyes at all?
Yeah.
What's wrong with them?
I'm drunk.
You're drunk? Okay.
Wow.
Do you wear
Smart.
glasses at all, though?
Supposed to.
You do? Okay. Prescription? But you don't have any?
None of this matters, really.
Okay. Do you have any problem walking?
None of this matters.
When I'm drunk, yeah.
When you're drunk?
I'm just, can we
Okay.
skip all this and hammered?
Well, I gotta run you through fields quick, okay?
No, because I'm going to pass him, so then I'm going to do the PBT, then you guys are going to sit here and have to argue for another half hour about what you should do with me. I'm drunk. Let's skip the field sobriety. Give me the drunk driving, whatever. I don't care.
Can you see my finger okay from where I'm holding in front of your face?
Yep.
What I want you to do is follow. Tip my finger with your
I
eyes and
know,
your
I
eyes
know.
only.
He's like, I know I've had multiple DUIs. I've
Yeah,
done this.
no, I mean, he's letting his, well, maybe he's letting his intoxication get in the way, but if it's not the intoxication from some substance, it's the arrogance, you know, like just the ego that getting in the way. Like, no, those two things do matter. The DUI on top of this does go to your credibility in the road rage incident as well.
Absolutely.
Like, in a massive way, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So these things really do matter. Again, just shut up.
Yeah, he's like under the false assumption that he knows the law and he knows his rights. But
Like
really,
so many we've seen before.
Really, if you did, you wouldn't be making any statements. You wouldn't be doing field sobriety tests. You wouldn't be blowing.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. And I get it that he's pissed off, right? That he got a gun pointed at him, seemingly. I don't want a gun pointed at me either. I get it, right? But you got to put it all in context as well. So yes, the mere fact that you're making all of these statements tells me that you actually don't know nearly as much as you act like you know. You know what I mean? And actually, I love this in the comments too. And I love you. Thank you for watching. But all the people are like, he's got a First Amendment right to talk back to that cop. Yes, but he also has a Fifth Amendment right to shut the up.
Which is what he should exercise.
And one of them's good in court for you. One of them's not good in court for you. Which one do you want to use right now?
Absolutely. Only. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. Try to follow him, okay?
I am following it.
Best you can. Don't jump ahead, okay?
Well, just do a new field sobriety test then. It's the same one every time.
This is standard.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's annoying. It's the same thing every time.
I know, but it's standard. That's why it's the same thing every time.
They don't switch him up per defendant. Like, let's try something new with this guy.
We're going to finish the eye test, okay?
Standard. That's standard means.
I know. All right, just follow it.
I know.
So if I say no, I'm drunk, I still have to follow that mother?
Yeah.
Can't you do the pen or something? That's more interesting.
I don't use pens.
More interesting.
All right. Don't laugh.
Okay.
Josh will laugh.
Ready? Hands on your side.
What are you going to do if I just sit here and stare at you like this?
Well, I just want you to cooperate. That's what I
I'm
want.
cooperating, but I'm telling you I'm drunk. It's got to be that easy. Like, okay, he said he's drunk.
Yeah, get the blow.
No.
Okay.
I don't want to do the first one.
Let's do a PBT quick then, okay?
Should I not just say this? We're going to have to...
Do you think it's going to be above a .08?
Yeah.
But I told you guys I didn't want to do the first one.
We still have to give you every opportunity.
It's going to be about a 2-3, I'd say.
Okay.
Our record's 3-9, just so you know.
Oh my God, stop talking.
Are you from La Crosse?
No.
Kevin took the preliminary breath test, which resulted in 0.161.
Wow.
Good. All right, can you grab the straw off the end there?
Why is he She should know not to do it then if he's had prior DUIs and he got my records at .39. You should have to do that one time at most, and then you realize you don't do it anymore.
Yeah. It's like in a 402 conference with the judge trying to get this guy
the
minimum, keep him out of prison, and it's like this is the evidence that the state's presenting, like how arrogant he was, the statements he's making.
Yes.
He's really not helping us negotiate in court.
Yes, that's what so 402 conference is, yes. Here in Illinois, it's a private conference between defense attorney, the defendant's not there. It's defense attorney, the prosecutor, and the judge. And basically we're saying, if he were to plead guilty, judge, what would you give him, right? What is the sentence you would give him? And that is an informal conference, really. It's behind closed doors. And, that's where you talk about these things. Like, he's not a bad guy,
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you do that with this?
Right.
Right.
That would be very tough.
Yeah, what is it? It's got to be the twos.
165. Not too high.
Wow.
Put your hands
Now
right back.
he's disappointed.
For drinking, driving.
Yep.
Nice try. You guys didn't think I knew this was coming?
So I think everybody the same due laws as everybody else kids, right?
Can I get a copy of their badge numbers first, please?
2702. We don't have
No,
to
we got to write it down. I got to write. Do not force me.
I'm not playing games.
I want my lawyer. I'm not playing games either, bitch.
You don't have to.
Yes, you do have to. Where was the guy? Where's the guy that was pointing the gun at me? That I was on the phone with 911 at. Where's he at? Did he drive his car here? Is he in cuffs?
Why is he in cuffs?
Why?
Because he wasn't drunk.
What? He has a gun.
Yeah, because he's a cop.
Thank you. That's all I need to know. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go.
Okay.
You guys are so.
I don't know what that means, Kevin, but okay.
Dude, he pointed a gun at me.
Yeah, that's what court's for, big guy. I'm not saying you're lying. Either way, you can't drive a car intoxicated, brother.
Either way, I called 911, so why would you guys know what's his tox level?
What's his tox level?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't even know what
you guys didn't even talk. Did you order tox level?
Nope.
So now you got a guy that pointed a gun at me with no tox screen on him. You guys are right. No tox screen on your deputy. You guys are dumb motherfuckers.
We don't need tox screen on him.
Why?
Because you need a reasonable, articulatable suspicion that he's even intoxicated in the first place. Otherwise, we would walk around going, do the breathalyzer, do the breathalyzer, can you do breathalyzer, can you do breathalyzer? No, you need to have something that indicates that he may be intoxicated before you do that.
Yeah, and the reasonable suspicion for Kevin was when he told the officers, I've been drinking.
Yes, exactly.
He provided that for.
Exactly. Now, there are like private employer things too, like, you know, getting an accident at work or something automatically.
Right.
That's not legal necessarily. Like that's a employer private agreement or part of the employment agreement, right? They could do that. It wouldn't hurt, but it's without something to point to. I wouldn't require. You know what I mean? And it's a non-issue.
Mm-hmm.
Except to Kevin.
Pointing guns at people.
He was off duty, piece of shit.
He's still a police officer.
So what was his justification? I want copies of that camera light too. There was cameras on that light too. You guys are all. You should look up how many cases I got off on my own without a lawyer. Can I have a smoke while we're in, please? I've been cooperative. Maybe I'll let my lawyer be nice to your deputy. We could just make this all go away. All your body cams are going to get subpoenaed because I'm going to pay at least $25,000 for my lawyer. You know why? Because I can't have one more thing on my record. What?
Informing the accused form.
I want my lawyer here before you read that to me.
Alcohol while under the influence of alcohol or drugs or both.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Somebody pointed a gun at me. Shut the f up!
Or you are suspected of driving or being on.
I can't wait till I see you on the streets. I'm going to beat the f out of you.
I'm going to what?
Tell your wife to get her
and beat the f out of you.
Oh my God.
When Kevin
now that's an assault on a police officer.
He said, I didn't mean I would beat him up if he was wearing a badge. If I saw him without a badge, I would beat him up.
Oh, okay. That makes it better.
There you go. Doesn't matter. He's still an officer.
Kevin was charged with felony battery threat to an officer, misdemeanor counts of possession of THC, possession of drug paraphernalia, and disorderly conduct. He also received several traffic citations, including OWI, first offense. Kevin was eventually found guilty of battery threat to an officer. All his misdemeanor charges were dismissed, but read in.
No, the one that sticks is the one who just volunteers at the end. Oh, Kevin.
And then he was just looking at misdemeanors, and it sounds like, well, yeah, Wisconsin, right? The first one is like a traffic ticket.
First DUI.
OWI. Right. The first. I am floored that that's his first DUI, though.
So am I. Like, I don't understand that, but
that one either got dismissed or just went into the felony.
Kevin. Now, what do you think about Kelly? Without seeing more, and hopefully they do say more. I don't know. Probably not. What do you think about the other charges, like the disorderly conduct and all that stuff being dismissed? Do you think it is because they didn't have a case, or is there another reason?
It's because his attorney negotiated with the prosecutor and they offered a plea on the felony.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So, let's just talk. For those of you watching, people are charged with a slew of things, and like Kevin was here, and it's pretty rare to plea on all of them. Yeah. Right? Your attorney, like defense attorney, is going to negotiate some agreement here. Toss these things, he'll plea on this, here'll be the outcome, right? You're going to negotiate it, right? And so he went from, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 charges down to 1.
But it was the most serious.
Serious, yep. Exactly.
I do hope that they say what his sentence was.
Let's see.
On top of that, his traffic citations were dismissed on the prosecutor's motion, except for the OWI.
There you go.
Ultimately, his sentence was withheld and was only given 2 years of probation with conditions. Online records indicate that Kevin has an extensive criminal history dating back to 2003, involving numerous felony charges. Moreover, he has been taken into custody 4 times within this year.
I wonder why he only got probation then with that kind of a background. Maybe it's because the battery threat to a police officer was kind of...
Yeah. Right. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, we couldn't really see that video, but it's not a great look to have to have your officer pointing a gun at people while he's sitting in his car.
That could be a reason too. Yeah.
Kevin, I just want you to get things on track. You know what I mean, Kev?
Maybe get some help for that meth problem.
Yeah.
That's probably causing a lot of his agitation.
Yes. Because I tried my best to be really sympathetic to him because it seems like he really did get a gun pointed at his face. But everything else, he made it hard to be sympathetic. Final thoughts? How would you, Kelly, grade Kevin on this matter?
Definitely an F. He made defending him extremely difficult. He's not sympathetic at all. He gave the police like all the evidence to use against them. Yeah, I would say his only card to play was that the off-duty sergeant pointed the gun at him, but I mean, we don't really know all the facts. It doesn't sound like that wasn't an insane reaction by the off-duty sergeant, and it kind of sounds like he got off a little easy. I mean, probation on the felony, so he's not doing any prison time, and the OWI. In Wisconsin, it's like the first time you get one, it's basically like a traffic ticket, but then every time you get another one, it gets worse and worse and worse. Right. I would imagine that this probably isn't going to be his first unless he turns his life around, which I hope he does.
Yeah, I hope he does too. Yeah, I agree. Like, Kevin, I'm trying to paint this alternative, like, story for Kevin where he is a perfect defendant. He gets out of the car, gets the gun, and pointed at him, calls 911, kind of chases him and drives off, but then stops and is like, hey, gets out of the car, tells his story about like, I got the gun pointed at me, and then shuts up. Doesn't have meth, doesn't have weed, hasn't been drinking, he's I think he's far more favorable, right?
Far more favorable. The other thing is, too, like, he could have had a lawsuit against the police department, maybe got some money out of it. Maybe. But he totally shot himself in the foot with everything else thereafter.
Yes.
What about the police? How would you grade them? Well, I'm assuming you gave Kevin an F, right?
Yeah, Kevin gave an F for that, yeah. You're right. How would I grade all right, so let's see. The sergeant, who we never really saw in this video at all, other than he was the other person involved in the road rage incident. I can't even give him a grade. Like, I don't know if he felt threatened and he, but it's gone. He obviously didn't fire it, but he was trying to protect himself, and that was a reasonable threat. I don't know. I don't know enough to say. But then the officers, in terms of their investigation, the other officers did a pretty darn good job. I mean, I know we sort of were wondering, and we maybe feel like they may have assumed some things with like this, their fellow officer was just protecting himself. But again, that's kind of a gray area for me. I don't really know. And I don't like to see the officers assuming things on behalf of their officers. Maybe a little bit of that happened. That is wrong. But in terms of investigating Kevin, they did perfectly fine.
Right.
They were patient. They got they found all the charges that existed there.
More than they even
More than they needed. More than they even wanted. Those officers are like, oh, shit, now I got to do a DUI investigation. Yeah. Come on.
Right.
So, yeah, they did a pretty good job. I'll give them a B. I'll give the officers a B because their investigation on Kevin, pretty rock solid, but not quite sure. It seems like they assumed some things on behalf of their officer.
Yeah, I would give the officers a C. I mean, I do think as far as like investigating Kevin and, having an airtight case for that, they did a really good job. They were patient with him. I would say my complaint, though, was that they kept going back to him to explain like the procedure or why they're doing this or why they're doing that. They don't have to do that. And that was just frustrating for them and agitated Kevin more. And then the other issue I have is, like you said, A, I think that they should have called another police department right away. B, I wish like we could have seen some of the statement from the off-duty sergeant to get like his side of the story. And C, I feel like they assumed right away that their sergeant was in the right when they really didn't know that to be true. So for those reasons, I'm giving a C.
All really good points, and as usual, your grades much more well thought out than mine. Yes,
that's why I'm the queen.
That's right. Yes. You're right. That's good. So that was a clusterfuck, huh? A lot of different things going on there. We did our best to stay on track and break it down from all the different angles. I hope you learned a little something. But there's one principle that you can always take away, and that is, zip it and don't make any statements because they will be used against you in court.